Venerable Sister, Dhamma friends, today also we are going to take time for this question and answer session. We'll invite Lakshmi to present written questions to start the session, please.
Thank you, Venerable Sir. We have a total of 12 questions.
Happy?
12, dolak.
Are you happy?
I could be a lot happier. Of the 12, I'll give you the breakdown of 8 of them. 4 are on sitting meditation.
Not necessary. You can start with the first question.
Okay. Then, Venerable Sir, 4 of them I have to reject. Alright. Of the 8, 1 is on terminology, but it only requires a short answer. I will ask it first so that it enables the person to understand from there on everything that's discussed today.
Yeah.
Most Venerable Bhante, in your terminology, do you make a difference between being aware and being mindful, or is it the same? Thank you. Theruvan Saranai.
In translation, the main term is sati. Sati has been translated as mindfulness as well as awareness. But not a single term is totally translating the term. But we have to take this rendering. So, the mindfulness, awareness, and I can give another one, that is diligence, almost like sati, and Pali itself has a different term for the appamada, but in the Pali canon, appamada and sati considered as synonyms. So we can translate mindfulness as awareness and mindfulness and sometimes wakefulness. And we can, the translation of the diligence is simply for appamada. Appamada is translated as diligence. Opposite to appamada is known as pamada. That is being translated as negligence. So these are giving some kind of nuances for you to understand. And recently, just to cite an example, there was an idea whether this mindfulness is really translating the term meaning of the sati and what is the standard mindfulness, what is the standard definition. Then it happened me to tell there are 8 occasions in the 37 factors of development appear the simple term sati. That means it is evolving or going for metamorphosis with 8 stages. 8 stages means 8 definitions. So when one person is developing, he or she himself is understanding mindfulness day by day in an evolving way. And when you read also the same thing happens. So when and where you try to make it a single definition, you become stereotype. You become with blinkers. And you become academic. Keep it open. So it must be a dialogue. It must be a discussion. So further, some people may come out with some other ideas like choiceless awareness, evenly suspended attention, or many nuances. So they say, basically Sri Lankan community say they are westernized terms of mindfulness. Whatever it may be, for a person like me, I read Pali, I read Sinhala, I read Burmese, I read English, and try to see how much my definition is evolving. So it is impromptu. It's according to the circumstantial. So therefore, don't try to be hard and fast with the definition. That's a kind of a crime the education system given to us. So keep it open. It can be evolving. So otherwise you get entangled with this academic and the philosophical argumenting. So you can easily evade them telling, yes, under these circumstances, this is the meaning. When you are going further, definition is changing. If you are telling this is the definition, I have no business with you. You are fixed. You are with a permanent notion. That means you are rotten. You are not ever evolving. So have your own mind, this thing, I have no dealing with, because I have to be here and now rather than searching and chasing behind definitions. Okay?
Okay, Venerable Sir. Sitting meditation on the breath. Most Venerable Bhante, my deep gratitude to you for helping me to deal with the suffering of renunciation associated with the 5 hindrances. Much merit to you, sir. I am reporting a good experience. Report on sitting meditation with breath as the primary object. I began by looking at my body in the seated posture and noted the points of contact with the chair and the floor. My attention then moved to the breath. I felt the breath going in and out of the left nostril and felt the point of contact inside the nostril. Soon I began to notice and note that the in-breath was very short and strong, and the out-breath was very long and mellow or subtle. The breath continued exactly in this way for 1 hour. However, from time to time I noticed thoughts coming in, and as soon as I noticed them, they disappeared. And simultaneously I noticed the breath going in and coming out according to the same pattern as before. The rhythmic sound of the rain and the cool air was an integral part of the awareness and helped and facilitated my attention to the breath. Theruvan Saranai.
This is the way sometimes you become very face-to-face, very familiar and very kind of sucking or absorbing the qualities. Don't expect that to happen throughout. So when and where it is not there, you understand, no, I don't get much of a detail, but at least I can keep face-to-face it. Sometimes you don't get even that. You see the sounds are disturbing, thoughts are disturbing, and even then you must understand, okay, whenever there are no disturbances, distraction, I must make my mind that breath is my pivotal point. Breath is my reference point. Under such circumstances, you familiarize the breath in order to get the pivotal point. Like I said, you must be very strategic. Don't expect the breath to come and give all information all the time. Never, no one. But we are not writing about the failures. We write the best. Whenever I get connected and whenever you report it, it becomes your own experience, and next day, if your report is good, if the communication is good, you are starting from that point onward. The highest point onward, so the momentum is continuing. If you are dealing much time on the distractions or failures or disappointments, your mind loses the spirit or the vigilance, or therefore it is ever complaining kind of mind. But I accept, I understand, there are some people, they only see the mistakes. There are some people, they only see the love spots. Reason to be glad. They are, I call Pollyanna. These kind of people, always they must have completely soundproof, completely air conditioned, completely sitting on air cushions. And if it is so, why should we seek for Nibbana? It is not in the world. So you don't talk about mistakes. Just make a policy. Whenever you are talking, you are fertilizing distractions. You are fertilizing defilements. You are facilitating defilements. You are feeding defilements. So the Buddha says, don't feed defilements. Just put them aside. Talk about the love spots. Talk about the glad and the reason to be glad, and I don't know whether it is something related to meditation or not, whether it is related to your personality trait or not, whether it is related to some kind of a inferential knowledge or not. But then onward, meditation becomes just like your day-to-day meal, or like a wash, or like a picnic, or like a hobby. So till that it is very sour. So learn the art, don't talk mistakes. See the possibility to fit into the situation, and once in a way you get Christmas Day. But don't expect the Christmas Day throughout the year. It comes once a year, and others you have to wait and see.
Thank you, sir. The next is a question on sitting meditation on the breath. I sit, make myself comfortable, and with a little support, straighten my back. Close my eyes and just sit for a few minutes. First 10 minutes, mind wanders before I can focus on a primary object. When mind settles, I note primary object in and out breath. Sometimes it first appears in the center of my nose, sometimes in my throat. In-breath is from left nostril. Out-breath is often from both nostrils or from the left nostril. Take a few long breaths. After some time, breathing gets calmer, more regular, and has a rhythm. Feel calm and want to continue like this. After the calm state, no more wandering mind. If a stray thought comes, I ignore it. Can sit like this easily for 1 hour. May you realize the Dhamma in this very life itself. That is, if you have not already done so. With metta.
So I am handling only the early part of the question. All the time, this particular writer may not accept it, but later may reconsider it. All the time this calmness is there. Whether it is with the stray thought or not, whether it is with the sounds or not, whether it is the pain or not. The moment you try to see these love spots, it never leaves you. There are some distractions on the other side, but whenever you look at that calmness, they become ignorant. You become ignorant about them, and you can be with the calmness. So, in the sense, in the ekaggata, it's as a mental concomitant or a mental factor, throughout your life is there. But you don't care. You are very happy to talk about turmoils, distractions, disappointments, and make chattering about that. So, the calmness is waiting, looking at you as an idiot. I am waiting till you come home, but you are talking about this peripheral thing. That today's government is wrong, rain is wrong, outsiders are wrong. So you can keep on. And so much so you get distracted to that kind of a term that disturb people, disturb vibrations, and you get sick. But the humanity itself is a birthright. So it says, there's one novel, it's not a novel, it's a writing, it says, born to be free. Just believe this calmness. Of course, at the beginning you have to do it in a solitude way, isolated way and discreet way. This is calmness, no thought, no pain, no sounds like. But once you more familiarize, this calmness is there. So, foreground or background, there may be some thoughts, who cares? And in the foreground or background, you have some sounds. It is not addressing you, so who cares? And there are some pains and distractions or unpleasant and pleasant feeling. Who cares? Because you take this, the calm state as your pivotal point, or know your norm, or your second nature, or appreciate it. And then you see, not a single person can distract it. Not a single disturbance have the inflicting power. Unless otherwise you bloody idiot going for distractions, leaving this calmness. So one day in a talk when Jnanaram mentioned, you won't believe even your mother is dead, even your head is burning, even your house is burned, and if your child is dying in your hand, the calmness is already there. You can't see because you think as a mother I must cry. Becoming calm is callous. It is not done. And other people will say that you have no feeling like, so we are trying to live on others' eyes. And it's a crime. You never understand, other people never think about our well-being. So you have to take care and isolate the calmness and discrete it and see theoretical way. And later, see this calmness together with little bit of astray thoughts, little bit of sounds, little bit of pain. And ultimately you are just like a water bubble or water drop on a lotus petal. The bubble is there but not smeared, not touchy. When you slant it, it drops. So water bubble is on the leaf but it is not touching. That's the way. So therefore that is how the people are maintaining their integrity, people are maintaining their personality, people are maintaining their spirituality. We are not answerable to those bloody fool questions. They will come and say, you are answerable. If they come close to me, I know what to do. If such a people, I will whack the fellow to knock it down because I came as an individual human being. No one has no rights to tell me that you must do that. That is my renunciation. That is not a post, or that's not a, authority. It's a punishment, it's an imprisonment. My authority is to be independent, to be isolated, to be contented. Other people come and ask, other people come and suggest. That no one can pinpoint me, you must do like that. If it is so, that is the worst slavery. Or you become just a subordinate of a foolish fellow. So give the mindfulness the hierarchy, give the chair, ask the mindfulness to run the game and see all the time as if you are in the calm state. All the thing may happen right round, nothing can come and smear unless otherwise you second these suggestions. So take special attention, they can suggest. Unless otherwise you second them, they never be inflicting. That's a human right. It's a birthright. So don't let others to come and impose upon you. No one will do. They don't know. So you have to claim my sole objective is to be solitude, calm, contented. And you can share with others, but don't make anyone to come and interpret terms. That means the Satan, or that means the evil one, that is the defilement, that is the papamitta, or ignoble people. Push them aside. And make sure you are with faith, you are with your morality, you are with mindfulness. So this is a good report. What I am telling is, this calmness is in all the postures, with all the objects in meditation, in morning to evening. So keep the relationship, keep with, then defilements loses the power, inflicting power. Then you find so much so, defilements came and disturb you because you are inviting them. You don't know how to take the refuge of this calmness. So once you experience that, you must let the calmness come with little bit of thoughts, little bit of sound, little bit of pain. Still, calmness is uninflicting, undisturbed. That is the way what you call mastery of the same very calmness.
Thank you, sir. The next question is on sitting meditation on the breath. Venerable Bhante, primary object of in and out breathing is noted. I can now keep mind on 20 to 30 or more breathing cycles, that is, in and out cycles. I feel that mind penetrates into in and out breathing. It is like mind goes inside water. Length, cold, hot feelings, touching points are very clear. However, a tiny sound can disturb the concentration. Sleepiness is more, can sit longer without pain. At times, object becomes boring. I am mindful with all of the above. Thank you for your valuable guidance always. With metta.
There's one sentence telling that I can't meditate for 30, 40 breaths or something like that. So these are unwanted statements, because whatever impossible, don't try. Whatever you have not seen, don't try. Because there is no expectation. But there's a mentioning that thundering sound is something distracting. Or if the same person going to say it is very conducive for meditation, I can't promise to bring more thunders. They comes and goes. What to do? Even if you want, they won't come. Occasionally come and see whether you are meditating or not. Thundering sound comes to see how much your mindfulness is strong. They come free of charge. So make use it. Occasionally again they will come. In April, can expect more. Bakmahatai, hena akunu bindenne. Bakmaha, that means April you may get more thundering. So wherever you go, all the distraction will indicate your equilibrium, your mindful state. And day by day, if you see, even these things happen, I can be mindful. That is what you call the maturity. That is what you call the immunity. So, at the beginning, there are some places you can't see through, you can't accommodate. That indicate your status. And make sure and make a determination one day, even thundering happens, still you can maintain the mindfulness. Or that must be your way of your outlook must be, and ultimately that also becoming possible. Not difficult, but possible. So this is the way you day by day understanding how much you can put up with, how much you can accommodate, and higher the amount of distraction you can still continue with mindfulness, so much so is the progress you have. So therefore, two people can't compare each other. Because our status, our caliber, our resistance is completely different, haphazard. But individually one can understand how much I can put up with distraction. That is the indication. So make sure before becoming too old, before becoming too sick, before becoming nearing death, undergo these all the kind of thing. That is the way you can be prepared for the old age sickness and suffering.
The next question is sitting meditation on the breath. Most Venerable Bhante, primary object is in-breath and out-breath. As I sit after few breaths, I get into calm state. However, yesterday and day before was different. I experienced very heavy and prominent breathing, and at times very long in-breath and very short out-breaths, and vice versa. I was very mindful, but the breathing was very heavy and rough. Then my chest started stiffening and felt tight. I felt a bit uncomfortable, but I could bear it. The whole sitting was like this, and the following next sitting too the same. After that, in the group sitting, it was a different experience. The stiffness or tightness was felt in neck and head area and felt same during the whole sitting. The moment I opened my eyes, everything was normal. Today in the morning, sitting, I have gone back to the usual state of calmness. But during this calm state, I saw some pictures of people whom I can remember even after the sitting, unlike in the previous experiences, which I reported some days back. Thank you and much merit to you for all your guidance. May all your Dhamma desires be fulfilled in this life itself.
So there are 3 sittings, and therefore essay become too long. So the person can write the best sitting and give a short and sweet report, and then it will be much efficient. And later you can summarize the other sittings at the end of the essay. So always write the best sitting. That very easy to understand. Otherwise, when you are presenting, I have my simple question waiting. Which sitting is the best one that you are talking about? And then only I can communicate with. Whenever you give all the information, that means it is not informative. To be informative, the simple way is give what according to your values judgment, what is the best sitting, and then we can discuss and go furthering and refining. So therefore, maybe, I guess, the last reported is the best one, because very calm and quiet. If it is so, don't expect others to not to happen. They may happen occasionally, but whatever the thing you can do to facilitate that, what you so call the best sitting, that is your responsibility. Not to expect other sittings, other kind of sittings not to happen. They are all relative, but you must see how to facilitate the best. And you are the only person can assimilate the path, assimilate the ways and means, and don't expect someone to come and contribute it to that, unless otherwise you decide and you express. When you are expressing, then the other person can understand the direction. So therefore, hoping, I don't know whether I am correct or wrong, if this calm sitting that you have mentioned in the last, if this is the best, make sure whatever may be conducive for that sitting, or doing the needful for that use the common sense. That is what you call facilitating. This is what you call vipassana anuggahita, or facilitating toward the insight knowledges. So get encouraged and continue with your own ways and means, please.
The next is a question on breathing while lying down. Most Venerable Bhante, gratitude to you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to report on my practice. I hope I have met your criteria at least partially. I am reporting a good episode. Primary object, in and out breathing in lying down posture. I woke up in the middle of the night and could not go back to sleep. So in the lying down posture, I started looking at the breath. I felt the breath inside my nostril and noticed that it was very gentle, soft, warm and comfortable. I made no effort to note or label, but I noticed that my attention was full on. I was wide awake and alert. I guess this is what you call autopilot, as I was just being taken along. I clearly noticed every in-breath and every out-breath with no effort, and it went on for the rest of the night, unhindered and uninterrupted. It was very comfortable and pleasant. At one point, I wished it would stop so that I could go back to sleep, but it did not. The next day, I did not feel tired for having lost sleep. In fact, I felt quite refreshed. Blessings to you, sir. May your spiritual aspirations be realized in this life itself.
So sometimes you may go 2-3 nights, not a single moment of sleeping as such, but the resting and the mind is with the posture or with the breath. And miraculous thing is, following day morning you don't feel breaking rest kind of feeling or drowsiness, and instead alertness is there. So that is the way what you call the wakefulness. It's called the diligence. It's called the vigilance. And this part is much, much higher for the younger generation. Because they are generally energetic people. Whenever these things happen, they sometimes complain insomnia. I can't sleep. So some people call me overnight from the foreign countries. But this is the third night. I am not getting sleep. What can I do? So I am asking them to come to Sri Lanka to lullaby. Just to sleep, make them sleep. And 1 day or 2 days time, that is episode is finished. And they understand it. We have to go through that kind of thing. That is the way the wakefulness sets in. And usually you expect bad consequences, but it is not there. If it is so, you see mindfulness is working in the sleep as well as awake. In the postures, sitting, lying down, walking, standing, everywhere. So that is the way it is become diversified and understanding in the sense of, in terms of multitasking. Whatever you do, if you keep the mindfulness in forefront, it is not only managing, not only priority selection, it is keep you vigilant, and the things, you get so much of shortcuts. Instead of going in the crooked way, very sharp, very straightforward, that is happening. So, you have to invest time to go through the mistakes, take mistakes as your teacher. Ultimately, you develop so much of, this is called neurobics, the neuron connections are happening, shortcuts are happening. Ultimately, the long story become very short. So therefore, these are the special benefits in the residential retreats, long residential retreats. Usually for a beginner, in the first, second, third, fourth days, that never happens because the momentum is not there. But if the momentum is there, now it is high time. So when it's happening, don't get distracted. Just let the wakefulness to run the show.
Thank you, sir. The next question is on walking, is a walking meditation report. Stand and observe the walking mat. Raised and started walking with my left leg. Noted my primary object as left leg and right leg. Noted lifting and placing. Observed that less noting helps to balance better. Observe that when I walk forward, the body moves and tilts to the right as well as forward, as if one leg is shorter than the other. First several steps are deliberate and with full concentration. Next, observed mind wandering while walking continues. Try to have continuous focus on walking. But mind strays before the end of the choir mat. When aware of mind wandering, I fault myself and force the mind back. The physical disability has improved significantly over the years. Please advise. Theruvan Saranai.
So if you continue to walk more than the choir rug on the sand ground or sand bed, you will be rejuvenating faster than the walking on the choir. So, because you get the complete reflexology massaging, when in the choir mat, you don't get the massage for the arc, the center area. And this is the emotional body, this is the emotional seat, this is the stomach. So when you are walking in a sand ground, each and every time that part get a kind of a massaging, and it's a very essential, the massaging the arc area. So when you are using shoes, when you are using a flat area, when you are using a choir mat, it is better than not doing meditation, but the best meditation is half an inch of sand, and when it's happening, how much this middle area, the emotional body or the reflections pertaining to the stomach or the center part is getting massaged, and then you see the nervous system getting very mobilized, energized. And early people the long-living people usually lived in mountains. For water and firewood, they had to come up and grow up there. There were no steps. So they have to take care about and carrying water, carrying firewood, and then they get the massage naturally. So rather than in the flat ground, when you are climbing up and climbing down, the different parts get the massaging, but don't do it in a tiring way, but do it in a comfort way, so that more you get massages to the soles and the palms. These are the keyboards or reflections of the body. If you are not doing physical work, you lose your appetite and lose your sleep and develop so much of uric acid, gouts, and all the junctions develop rheumatic pains and easily get exhausted. So therefore you must keep on working in this place, these reflections, and that is how the Buddha daily used to walk at least 15 miles. And in a journey, early morning, start from the dusk, or the dawn, not the dusk, dawn, and go as much as possible and do a little bit of pindapata, or alms rounds, and eat it. After that, get a little rest and do walking and sitting meditation and stay over there. And next day morning, another 15 miles. And it is called Charika. And today we have three-wheelers. Anything happen, you are calling three-wheelers and tuk-tuk. And they says, I have rheumatic pain, I have back pain, I have that pain, this pain, because you are not using your body. So walking meditation is the way for introducing the rejuvenation. Sri Lanka, as a nation, we lost our identity, we lost our whole everything because we lost this walking meditation part. Now Nissarana is taking the pioneering, trend-setting kind of strive, because we introduce walking meditation. For children, for monks and nuns and lay people and everything. But people are happy to do walking meditation inside, just like pregnant woman. Even such a nice climate, they never take outside. So go a little further, take these sand beds, and you will see furtherance, definitely.
Venerable Sir, the next question is both on walking and on sitting meditation. Experience on walking meditation. I started walking, noting, but it did not prevail much time. then only the knowing, and finally it became a mere stepping. Within 15 minutes, eyelids were heavy and eyes were closing. It was difficult to walk anymore. So I went to a sitting posture. Suddenly eyes were tightly closed. Body completely disappeared. There were no more thoughts, bodily pains or pleasure. Breathing totally vanished. Mind became into a dark hole. This plight was experienced in several times in this very sitting. After this experience, in most walking and sitting, in most walkings and sittings, mind was calm. Walking meditation was done as usual. In sitting, breath suddenly disappeared. Body and bodily feelings were vanished. Surrounding was felt empty. But mindfulness tasted an But mindfulness tasted an undesirable state. Though sounds were heard that could not be contemplated, they were as they are. Considering these, there are no any pleasure or pain, but only the equanimity. May you be healthy.
The walking and getting dull and eyelids are heavy and sleepiness and going to sitting is not normally recommended, because sometimes that will conduce for you to go and sleep. So therefore, whenever you feel sleepy, don't go for still calm posture like sitting and tackle it in the walking itself. But anyway, after going into the sitting, explain, no problem. It is going for calmness and calm down and repetitive calmness happen, or becoming gross and again calm. That kind of thing happen. More and more you see these cycles, they appear. Further you go, the amplitude of the cycle, the wave is reducing. So that means it is in a tapering mode. And that is still, it is never developed in a linear or single straight line. It is happening like a spiral. And spiral is conical in shape. Just to give another mode. So therefore, there are same thing happening like again and again, but they are advancing, becoming narrow, and ultimately there's a second dimension of the calmness, utterly undisturbable. So when that is happening, to a certain extent your drive, your desire, your motivation is there, but towards the end you are just a distant observer. Things are going to happen in the cause and effect relationship, and mindfulness come to a quite a maturity, just a neutral observing, just monitoring only. And at that time, what you feel, you may say it is as a suffering or torturing or burning like. So the Buddha says, whatever the improvement of the mindfulness, worldly suffering. Whatever you experience is, end result is suffering. But the miraculous thing or spontaneous thing, electric thing is understanding this suffering as suffering is the most hilarious thing on the human life. You know it, you are not striving more. You are not asking way out, you are ready. And now you understand suffering is there, but you understand this is what you call suffering. And that is the highest thrill and highest happiness on the earth. So therefore it is a kind of a philosophical happiness. You are happy on the suffering nature. Because you know this is what you call suffering. It is not because that I am a male, or it is not because I am a female. It is not that because I am a lack of mindfulness, no lack of morality, nothing. This is the suffering. So understanding suffering as suffering is the most thrilling thing on the earth. But if that is not being understood in the outset, you will ever complaining, whatever the meditation do, end up with sour taste, end up with astringent kind of taste, because your outlook, your mindset, at the outset, the view is no good. But when it is happening, going on meditating, slowly, your mind ready to accommodate that kind of thing. Suffering is sour in taste, but understanding suffering as suffering is the most thrilling thing. So this is what you call the wider view, or the correct view, or the sammaditi. So keep on practicing. And another statement possible there, even though mindfulness is met up with this unsatisfactory situation, if a person is going to practice again and again, that particular person is praiseworthy. That particular person worth called a yogi, never give up, still practicing, then only one day her or his idea will come, okay, it is suffering true, but I understand this as the truth of suffering, so this is the most hilarious thing. But even then he or she fall into very difficult situation. How to sell this product to other people? No one will buy. Because it is unsatisfactory nature. So that is why Buddhism never become a popular or majority. Never. It's always minority. Because it is something kind of against the grain understanding. So this particular person has to think about or give a reconsideration. What is my outlook? What is my view? And am I ready to understand this is what you call truth of suffering? Then you get the frills and thrills.
Now, Swami Mahansa, what we have left are essentially 4 rejected questions.
So you will be answering them. Please ask them to come and report and tell what is the reason to be rejected, and if they can give a reasonable reason, tomorrow we will take them.
Yes, so
otherwise, just let them know this is the frame, and it is not coming within the framework. That is why rejecting, and therefore are also learning something.
Yes, the thing is they don't come.
Never mind. Then
because they are losing out.
We have equal. We are inviting them, because Venerable Jnanarama used to say, if you write something, don't throw away. It is representing yourself. So when he was teaching me, I wrote volumes, and I know at the end of the day, it's utter waste. Go to the waste paper basket. But Venerable Jnanarama, he can't write even a single letter because hand is shaking. And he says, wonderful person, you have written, don't throw away. Then I say, it is not grammatical, Bhante, it is not according to the theme. Never mind. This is what you are. So therefore the writer, the person is asking, we are appreciating. If he or she is not coming forward, no problem. Yes, she want to talk.
Avsarai Swamin Wahanse, that in that essay it says that while she or he is walking, that experience the dizziness or the sleepiness. So can I know if someone experienced that, what is your advice or what is your suggestion for that person?
So that whenever the mind do not have sensuous desire and the hatred, it is very dizzy. It is very wavering. Our mind is very straightforward and very strong as far as sexual and sensuous desire is there. Our mind is very straightforward as far as the hate is there. When the meditation, when you are associating a neutral object, when and where the kama, chanda, vyapada is less, thina middha is coming up. It's a very clear indication. Now there is no motivation. Mind is more neutral, but mind do not know how to maintain it. It's lethargic. It's not dramatic. It is enthusiastic. It is not. So you have to understand this lethargic, unenthusiastic. What is the call? Viraga, the lack of desire. So this is a result of your meditation. But if you are going to say, how can I meditate? I feel lethargic, boring and monotonous. Then what to do? You have to go to the desire. So this is an endowment. This is a lack of defilements. It's a progress in your meditation. So if you do not understand it, you report in a negative way. You consider, you attribute it to the dizziness. You attribute it to the giddiness. No, this is not that. You can't put on these dirty names. This is due to the lack of kama, chanda and vyapada. So next day go there and practice. More you associate with the neutral object, when and where the mind is face to face with, definitely you can see the cessation or reduction of kama, chanda and vyapada. Then instead of the lethargic nature, enthusiasm arises because my mind is progressing. I am on the patipada. I am reducing the defilements. So till you understand it, it appears like body. It appears like monotonous. So go to the meditation centers where even the people suffering from insomnia can fall asleep. Or otherwise go and see English films. That's also easy you can sleep. Buddhu venuwa, buddhi venuwa. Because these places, your peak kama, chanda, vyapada reduces, then you fall asleep. Unless otherwise you know. Unless otherwise you know it is a progress. It's a lack of defilements. So it's a matter of reflection. It's a matter of perspective. So you have to, if it is unbelievable, sit for 1 or 2 minutes at the end of the walking path and again go for walking rather than going for sitting and going and sleeping, because this is not a defilement. This is not a sloth and torpor per se. It is the mind become leena venawa, kshina venawa, that is in dormant. Mind become dormant. But it's a very, very clear sign. No defilements at the virulent level, not in an infesting level. So it appears like lethargic. So you have to familiarize it.
Thank you, Swaminatha.
Venerable Sir, I may be able to bring in one of the questions under a different category, under your Dhamma talks. May I give it a try?
You mean that 4 questions you selected?
Yes. One we might be able to consider as a Dhamma question.
So okay. That means you are finding excuses to present it. Okay.
I don't want to let this person go. Apes Swamin Mahansa, is there a way to distinguish or to differentiate the sleep and the avitakka avichara samadhi while we are doing sitting meditation? May you have a long and healthy life.
No, you compare the
sleep.
Sleep.
And the avitakka avichara samadhi.
That's a misunderstanding. I was just discussing. Whenever the virulent defilements are not there, you read it as sleepiness. Or you can read it as avitakka vichara samadhi. Or you can say dementia. Or you can say fainting. Or total anesthesia. So whenever you attribute a name, you are utterly lost. Attribution name is killing the situation. Just see. Just let it happen again and again. Moment you attribute, it is putrefied. It is second hand. And our mind never accepts things unless otherwise there is a name. So the Buddha used to say, each and everything on the earth is being infiltrated or infested with the name.
Sarai Swaminathan, this regarding to the yesterday's talk.
Please repeat.
Sarai Swaminathan, regarding the yesterday's discussion.
Regarding yesterday's talk, yes.
You mentioned totality. The way that I understood was vibration in the body, and I thought that it is coming due to hardness, and when the hardness get observed in the body, and then when it comes to the throughout the body, you can see the vibration throughout the body. Is that what you meant by totality, Swaminathan?
That means total vibrations.
And you meant the word totality, and
No,
mentioned with
you
the
are talking,
mindfulness.
You think that totality is covering whole body, that vibration is becoming a totality.
Yes, that's how I thought.
If it is so, how do you know? Knowing is completely outside totality. Outside vibration. Knowing is something, vibration is something. If the vibration is 100%, how can you know? Knowing is not vibration. Do you get the point?
No, Swaminathan.
If the 100% vibration happening, your mind is completely fit, how can you know that you are vibrating? It's a separate dimension. So we'll say, you are 100% angry. Still you can understand I am angry?
Yes.
That is another space. That means angry cannot be 100%. If it is so, you cannot understand you are angry because your mind is full of anger. It never happened on this earth. Because your knowledge, your mindfulness always have the seat. Even if you are 100% angry, or 100% sexually desired or erratic, you know it. Otherwise, how can you introduce Nibbana into this world? Nothing go 100%.
But I still didn't understand properly.
That I know. I understand that you do not understand. Never mind. Because be mindful as much as possible. One day you will understand everything. We have the capacity to understand, even the vibration, even the erratic feeling, even the hate. When it goes 100%, there cannot be any room for understanding. If it is 100%.
Thank you so much.
Otherwise, Buddha can't introduce the Nibbana. If 100% you become erratic or sexual feeling, 100% hatred, 100% vibration, then where can you understand it? Understand always you have a room. That is the very tiny room the Buddha make use it for you to say, you are a separate person, vibration is separate thing, understanding is separate thing, totality is just a concept.
Swaminathan, then again you mentioned about the Sammaditi, but you went very fast. I didn't really hear it properly.
Listen to the talk tomorrow, slowly. It is not my mistake. Listen it again and again, silently, slowly, mindfully. That option is open. Okay, finished?
May I ask a practical question, not a meditation question? During my last retreat here, when I was doing walking meditation, I didn't realize that gum had been mixed into the sand in the walking paths. It was a day when there was a huge tamasha here. So I think because of the gum, the sand penetrated the skin, and after that I was in quite a bit of pain.
Gum.
Gum. They had a big tamasha here, like a perahara, taking the dane upstairs.
Yeah.
That-
G-U-M, gum.
Gum.
Yeah.
So that day I think they disposed of the excess gum into the sand.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't realize, and the sand mixed with the gum, you walk on it, you don't fully realize. But
Still I don't understand the term meaning gum.
gum, glue.
Glue into the sand.
Yes, in the walking paths.
Who put it?
Must be the Dayakayas.
I mean, gum is not a common thing to put into sand.
That day they had a big tamasha here, and all the things were pasted and colored paper and everything, and it must have been the leftover gum.
The pasting with the... Okay. Yes, yes.
So that, after that, I was in a lot of pain, but I didn't really understand what had happened. I knew there had been gum and the sand got stuck on my feet, but I didn't realize it had cut in. Then that same day, another meditator complained about pain in the feet, and I began to realize she and I had probably both walked on the path that had gum. So when the retreat was over and I went back home, I soaked my feet in warm salty water for about 20 minutes. Then with a dull blade, I scraped off the bottom till the sand that I could get came off.
Yeah.
Since then, off and on, there is still pain, and I suppose the soles got weakened. So now when I try to walk, the sand anyway penetrates, even though there's no gum. And it becomes quite painful, which is why I am more inside this retreat. I thought I'd bring it up because this may be happening to others as well. And I've heard others complain about pain in the feet, and they can no longer walk. And there are questions as to what has caused it. Whether there is gum in the sand or not, I think sometimes, especially if you're not a Sri Lankan or if you were brought up mostly in shoes for whatever reason, then the feet have not got used to walking on natural surfaces. Then if the sand cuts in, you can't see it. When it's embedded in the skin, you can't see it, and it hurts and you don't know why. But when I scraped off with a knife, I could see how much sand there was.
That means after a few days?
Yes, probably almost a week later.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means while you are wearing shoes also, you can feel...
I'm in pain. I was in pain. But when I finally soaked the feet and scraped the soles, the skin off, then I could see the particles of sand come off. And some must have still been left because some areas of pain continued. But I just thought I'd bring this up because others may be having similar experiences.
Because my leg is extraordinary one. Even I can walk on the glass, the particles, never get cut. And even on the mimosa, that nidikumba, or anything, it is very hard. So I can't experience because very hard skin.
Yeah.
And you are talking about this particular place where you got the gum first and then sand got stuck there, and then onward, wherever you go, the pain is there.
Correct.
Yeah, so maybe, but still I can understand the pasting on this walking path where the monks are coming, but not on the sand.
They would have disposed of the excess gum there.
No, therefore what happens is you get stuck with the gum and then you step into sand and then it will get stuck.
The sand felt different, but I didn't understand why.
Yeah. That is because you have another paste here and then the layer of sand, just like a sandpaper.
Maybe.
So for me it is abnormal. My leg can't keep gum. Because I am walking on so much of rough places it goes, and whenever you are walking somewhere, there is no gum or there's a different bed of sand, that particular person may not have that kind of a question. So when I was in Panditharama, there was a young Samanera from Vietnam, and he daily makes excuses not to go on Pindapata. Because Pindapata we have to walk 45 minutes walking. It's like a running. So he was an innocent person and he's very happy to go to Pindapat also. So he's asking after the interview, he says, Bante, may I get excuses not to go on Pindapat? No, you have to go there. Next day also he asked, no, you have to go there. So I asked him, what is the reason? And he showed his leg. It's completely cut while walking, and he's walking with the plaster underneath, and after a few steps it slips off. And they he's lamening. Otherwise he's quite a person happy with Pindapata. His leg is so soft. Then I told that instead of asking excuses, you'd have mentioned your physical disability. Your leg is bleeding. No, I thought that Sayadaw will understand it. So I humbly requested in a diplomatic way, but they don't give. Because he never mentioned about his leg. It's so soft. So I told thank you my mother. She made me a boy. Climbing and walking on the rocks and everything. The skin is so hard. Even gum happens, it won't make any difference. Even the sand gets stuck, it won't make any difference. So whatever the way the Lakshmi is explaining, I can't understand. Because my leg is so hard.
Thank you, sir.
Most Venerable Bhante, there is an information that I would like to share about this. Because my father, he inquired at his doctor because I had some pain on the soles of my feet. And what he said is that because you've been talking now about the hardness of your skin, that if we are not used to walking barefoot from childhood on, it's the blood vessels that have not learned to protect themselves with a layer of fat or something. So independently on how the skin feels or the skin is, actually it's under the skin. That's the way that this doctor explained it, that the blood vessels or whatever it is have not learned to protect themselves, and that's why we are more sensitive. I don't know if they can learn later to protect themselves, I will see. But it seems not only to be a matter of skin.
So during the time of the Buddha, Maha he is such a luxurious person, princely person, never walk on the ground. So after becoming a monk, he wanted to do walking meditation and everything is split and blood is oozing. But he was so ardent and energetic, his whole walking path, inside walking path is like a slaughterhouse. So people went there and reported, but still he is walking. So the Buddha came and still he is walking. He so made up his mind, striving. Then the Buddha asked, what is this? He says, it is due to my bleeding. So upon that, what are you doing? I am striving. Then the Buddha says, when you are tuning a guitar, if it is too tight, what will happen? The sound is no good. If it is too loose, what will happen? Sound is no good. It must be tightened in the middle part, then only the real music happens. Therefore, striving, you have to understand, you have to go to the equilibrium, you have to go to the compromise. So therefore, different people. So therefore, each and every person may not be qualified physically to do outdoor walking or walking on even this choir mat is too harsh for them. So they have to think somehow, but for both of you, the question is, when you feel more painful, more irritating, are you mindful more or less on the pain?
Actually, I tend to ignore it till it gets a bit bad.
No, ignorance is not it is your mental attitude that I am telling. When you have kind of a consistent pain,
Yes.
is it a conducive for your mindfulness, or is it a distraction, or is it the disturbance for your mindfulness?
If it gets severe, it can disturb.
Yeah, that unbearable is.
Yes.
But otherwise this is a kind of a blessing in disguise. So that is the way we have to put into that. And on top of that, in the Buddhist way, we have our karmic forces. So sometimes when they come into fruition, even if you are walking on these tiles, you get cuts in your leg. And you feel difficult. So another person is going on the same field, they won't get the same consequences. This is such a verification, such a kammang satte vibhajati yadidang hina panitata. When you are walking on the same path, two people feel two different things. So therefore you must know how to make use it, how to take it into a positive way to increase the mindfulness. In a sense, how can I adapt into that? And take the blessing in disguise. So I accept to a certain severity and unbearable situation, of course you have to surrender. You have to do something. And when I go outside, specifically the trips out the other countries, I can't expect people to walk on the sand because climatic situation. So they have to wear shoes or socks and then walk in the inside places. So therefore we prepare a video clip for walking meditation, and they are demonstrating in the outdoor walking path in Melbourne. That path when we prepared it just to show walking path, and it says walk outdoor barefoot when and where the situation permits. Otherwise you have to go for indoor, you have to do appropriate. So don't torture yourself, but if there are some irritations or signals, make use to facilitate more and more mindful, because kind of a feeling is unavoidable devil. When you feel feeling, if you fix mindfulness, it becomes double positive, because even if you think, you cannot be unmindful, because this is pulling your mind to the pain. So you take it as an object of meditation, but not to torture. Then the Buddha will come and say, just you tune your violin so that it must be medium.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have taken 20 minutes more, so therefore don't invite more questions.
Thank you, sir. Much merit to you.
And this is the end of the question and answer session. We will be meeting here at about 3 o'clock. Thank you very much for your participation.